Welcome to the No Rain, No Rainbows podcast. This is a show about pushing through obstacles and hard times in order to live a happy and fulfilled life. I'm your host, Ted Phaeton, and it's a pleasure to have you joining us. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Let's grow. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the No Rain, No Rainbows podcast. Hope you guys are having a wonderful time so far. We appreciate you listening. Joining me today, I'm excited for this one. Got my man Marcus Carson, a.k.a. Goose.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Glad to be here, man. Thank y'all for having me, man. It's an honor.
It's an honor to have you, man. I appreciate you taking the time. I know we've been talking about linking up doing this podcast for a while.
Thanks.
I see you out there grinding. I see you out there hustling. So being able to sit at this table together definitely is something I don't take lightly.
Same, man. Likewise. Yeah. I'm glad to be here, man. It's an honor.
Definitely.
Sure.
We have some listeners who might not be in the Greenville area. They might not have heard of you before, which is okay, listeners. We're going to forgive you because if you don't know, you're about to know.
Yes, sir.
Why not tell them who you are and what it is you do, man?
Name Marcus Carson, man. Go by Goose. From Seneca, South Carolina, man. Grew up playing sports. I'll be 30 July 24th this year, next Friday, as we all know. Yeah. Fitness model, entrepreneur, man. Just out here grinding, man.
Yeah.
Typical dude, man.
I see you,
Loving
man.
life, man.
And I'm chasing after you and the whole fitness model thing and all entrepreneurship, and you're killing the game, which I love seeing.
I appreciate that.
First question I had, it was the nickname Goose. Where's that come from, man?
All right, we can get into that. Kind of a rough one, man. So my sophomore year, I happened to be working. I left football practice, happened to work in registration at the high school. Didn't really realize it. My football coach, one of my DB coaches, came up behind me. I had on a Hollister shirt. I'm sure you remember Hollister.
Yep.
It's red, had a gray seagull on it. I had a little mini bottle of Grey Goose. He caught me with it. He just kind of said Goose, him and two little girls that I was working with, that actually two of my close friends. Got to the field, had a two-a-day practice that afternoon. He caught me putting Grey Goose mini bottles in my Gatorade bottle. And it just kind of stuck. You know, and he just started calling me Goose, man. The two girls started calling me Goose. It just stuck.
And there it is.
There it is, man. It's not a good reason, but
it's a badge of honor now, I feel.
Yeah, like what? Like I got an alcohol problem or something? Like that's what it sounds like. But it was dope, man. I like the name. Kind of so when a lot of people say they thought it came from like Top Gun.
Yeah.
'Cause I wear aviators a lot and stuff like that, and they're like, yeah, you should be Goose. And then like your homeboy is like Maverick or something. And I'm like, nah.
I love that.
It came from me drinking, man. That's all that was.
I mentioned badge of honor because, like you said, I mean, I would have thought it came from Top Gun or something, but it's like everyone's, oh, that's Goose. So like to own the name. I mean, regardless of where it came from, it's what you make
territory. Come with the territory, man.
Let's talk about sports, man.
Yes, sir.
What's the first sport you played?
First sport, basketball, all day.
What was your first love?
Basketball, hands down. That's my love, man. Michael Jordan. I'm still a Bulls fan to the day I die. We suck right now, but we'll be back.
Yeah.
Basketball was my first love. I grew up playing on a dirt court. My grandma had literally a dirt court, man. Like we grew up like in the sticks in West Union, man.
Really?
And my mom was working 3 jobs, so I mainly was with my grandma.
Yeah.
And out by like the old kerosene heaters sitting outside, stuff like that. Just had a dirt court my grandpa made for me, man, out by the woods.
Okay.
Literally a wooden light post with a gold hung on it.
See, the fact that you remember that wooden light post, something tells you were out there till it was dark.
Oh man, crickets going, man. Got gnats flying around like the street posts and everything. Man, I'm out there all day.
Yeah.
Barefooted. It doesn't even matter, man. I was out there.
Would you say that's where your work ethic comes in?
Absolutely. It comes from my grandma, man. Watching her and my mom, honestly. It's like mama working 3 jobs, so my brother was, troubled, man. He was in and out, in the system and stuff like that. He's 15 years older than I am. So she was working 3 jobs trying to keep me up and to keep my brother up. That, grind, work ethic from her. My grandma, man, to have 6 grandkids that she basically raised in one house, man, and waking me up to, go hit the garden and go help her outside, 5 o'clock in the morning during the summer and stuff like that, man.
Yeah.
Picked it up, man. Hey, I live my life around one concept, man. Head down, do the work.
Yeah.
And that's the way she rolled, and that's where I got that from, actually.
It's crazy.
Head down, do the work, man.
I feel like some of us get that at a young age where we have no choice.
It's installed in you.
I mean, and I don't mind saying it on camera. I got emotional a couple of days
Yeah.
ago. I had a friend of mine from high school, right?
Mhm.
We were all talking, and we were talking about my high school. I
Yep.
went to Catholic school for any of the listeners that didn't know, and pretty much the city I grew up in, it was the hood, man. You know,
For sure.
kid around the block from me sold crack to his mom to pay the mortgage for the house, right? Then I'd get on a bus, and I'd go to a Catholic school where an 18-year-old is complaining because she got the base model BMW, got another 18-year-old who's driving an H2 Hummer, you know, flipping marijuana out his truck because he wants to be cool. And I remember my mom working overtime to put me in that school. I remember my dad, you know, waking up 5:30 in the morning to go work in the city, coming home at 6 to cook dinner because my mom won't be home until 11 p.m. Until after I go to bed, just so I can get a better shot at an education. So when you see that at a young age, I feel like you just can't get that out of you, right?
No, not at all.
Like it's not
at
going
all.
away. What are some of the fruits you've been able to enjoy in your life because of that work ethic that you've had instilled in you from a young age?
Man, a lot of things, man. Even when it comes to modeling, like work, I think even my just demeanor, everything about me, I think just speaks mentality. And I speak in all the time about having a lion's mentality. And what I mean by that, a lot of people think that's like cocky or confident. Man, that's just me being me. When I say having a lion's mentality, it just means, you know, when I see an opportunity to be better, to do better, I feel like a lion. I feel like my ears kind of perk up. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, all right, let's go. Let's hunt, zone. Let's go get it.
Yeah.
And that's just how my mama was. You know what I mean? My dad left me when I was 3 years old. She never took no for an answer, no matter what. In and out, like even with the 3 jobs, like those weren't, one job was consistent. The other 2 is like, you know, here and there, you know, picking up different odd jobs here and there. That's just the way it's got to be. She had to do what she had to do to get the job done to make sure I had a better life. So now I feel like no matter what, I don't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
Like I can always better myself no matter what. I enjoy a successful life. You know, I work in healthcare. But my modeling has been going great, stuff like that. And I don't even consider myself a model, but you know, it is what it is. My athleticism, if I know I'm not that good at something, hence like I was talking about soccer.
Yeah.
Head down, do the work, man. Let's get to it. I'm going to better myself to make sure I can come out here and eat. At the end of the day, man, I got to lay a foundation for myself and my lady, you know, my future, my kids when I have them in the future.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to be given to me. Championships ain't given. Jordan can tell you that.
Yeah.
Like,
I was going to ask, and I feel like I know the answer to this question. Are you a competitive person?
Absolutely. Dude, it's scary how competitive I am.
Really?
And I greet everything in life with that competitivism.
Yeah.
And I think that's just the athlete in me. Like I said, I grew up loving basketball. I remember literally sitting back watching like the old Jordan's finals and stuff like that, man, back in the early 90s. Even me growing up a Dallas Cowboys fan, just watching football as a kid, man, watching Deion Sanders, how he grinded, just putting in the work ethic.
Yeah.
You know, Jerry Rice running heels, stuff, like all of those little things, man. I like to take a snippet of everything and give it out. To
Yeah.
be like, look, this is where that work ethic and that grind comes from.
Yeah.
Like I want to work so damn hard that my presence will demand respect.
Yeah.
I walk in the room, I want you to look at me and be like, I have no choice but to respect him. He puts in the work.
I love that, man.
Hey, and that's just the way it is, man.
So you mentioned Jordan, you mentioned Sanders. What are some of your other heroes and why, man?
Martin Luther, of course, man, for what he stood for. I stand by it hands down. I'll say Muhammad Ali, Vander Holyfield, Michael Jordan, Deion Sanders. Somebody I listen to every day, just old things that he's done. Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
It's something about that man. He inspires me so much. Him, Inky Johnson.
Yeah.
You know, the things that he's had to overcome. Eric Thomas, stuff like that. I'm very passionate. So it's
I
like
love that.
people that are passionate like that, like those 3, Ray Lewis, Eric Thomas, Inky Johnson, I tend to gravitate towards that. And it's like I feel like I can take snippets of everything that they say and apply it to my own life.
Yeah.
And Ollie as it sounds, man, I would even say people like Tupac, man. Like, I mean, everything that he did, not even just in the music industry, but if you really know him as like not even just like a poet or anything like that, him as a person, like just from what I've read and listened to, dude was deep, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and he was passionate, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For women, politics, all of that. Like,
And I think that's what's amazing about some of the people you mentioned, and when we acknowledge some of the greatest that's ever done it, what they've done transcended their profession.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that again for the listeners who didn't get that. What they've done transcended their profession, right? Michael Jordan, sure, you could say best basketball player of all time, but also how many people are wearing his sneakers?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They've had an impact that extends the court, or they have an impact that extends the arena in which they got their success. And I think what speaks volumes to these kind of people is they don't handle, much like you say you approach everything in life with that mentality, you know, competition. I wrote down, when I see an opportunity to get better, I'm the lion. The lion comes out, right?
Yeah, that ear perks up.
Exactly.
Let's go.
And it doesn't matter if you're picking up a football, basketball, a pen, or a stethoscope.
At all.
It doesn't matter. It's like, I came to play, you know.
Exactly.
I mentioned putting my tie on in the morning, putting my suit jacket on. I don't put my tie on until right before the show. People, why do you do that? Like, it's my jersey, man.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I'm putting the jersey on. The warm-ups just came off.
Yeah, the warm-ups just came off. I got my little music I play. You know, my warm-up music. I get my mind right.
Yes, sir.
And because you know, there's levels to this, and it's not a game, but it's a game that I'm trying to win.
Exactly.
Right? And I'm coming out for it.
At the end of the day, man, you got to consider yourself the best. Like, no matter in any aspect, whether that be as a husband, as, you know, a worker, athlete, whatever the case may be, you got to have that mentality. You got to have that grind.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, you might as well just take a seat, man. Go sit over to the side and let somebody else take it.
Yeah.
So I always look at it like I have to outwork everybody. So a lot of people always ask me, like, why are you up early doing what you do? Why do you stay up late doing what you do? Why do you crank 2-a-days? Why do you, you know, every little thing? And I'm like, dude, I am trying to outwork everybody.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. I'm greedy when it comes to my life. Like, I'm a very outgoing person. You know, I love people. I love conversating with everybody. But in the same sense, like, I look at life like, you're coming from my neck. When it comes to my craft, I got to come for your neck.
Yeah.
I got to be the best at what I do. I'm trying to outwork you. I got to outgrind you.
What are you chasing, man?
Oh, man.
It's a hard question.
Man, that's a tough one. That's a loaded question. What am I chasing? I just want to be elite in every aspect of my life. And that goes with, you know, my relationships with my girl, people, friends, my work, everything. I just want to be elite. I want to be the best version of myself that I can be. I'm just chasing to be the man that I know my mom and my grandma set out for me to be.
And it's so funny because I sense that my parents, mainly my mom, keeps telling me to relax. Right? And I don't know if you have anyone in your life that does this. It says, like, you work too hard, when you're going to take a break, and this, the other thing. And it's funny because the things my parents have done for me has inadvertently done exactly what they didn't want me to do for the rest of my life. I watched my parents work so hard so I could have a shot at a comfortable life, right? Now that I'm in a spot where, you know, to them, I have a comfortable life, they're like, we busted our butts so you don't have to work this hard. But to me, I'm like, Mom, Dad, I watched you work this hard to give me an opportunity, and now that you're giving me the baton, I ain't trying to stop the race.
No. No, you can't, man. It's like eventually somebody's got to dethrone the king, right? You consider yourself a king when it comes to your podcast, it comes to your, you know, you being an anchor. You got to consider yourself the best. You consider yourself the king. Cool. Eventually, somebody's got to dethrone you. Somebody's got to take that seat on the throne, right?
Yeah.
So why not milk it for what it's worth right now?
Yeah.
Get everything you can get out of it. Impose your will on it right now. That's just the way you have to do it.
What motivates you more, right? The person chasing you or the person you're chasing?
Probably the person that's chasing me.
Yeah.
That keeps me moving. You know, I always think there's somebody out there outworking me to get to where I want to be. Like, I'm not even a made man yet.
Yeah.
I consider myself to be a one-man army, but I'm not a made man. I'm not stand on top of a mountain right now, owning whatever it is I want to own, or I'm not a big wig, none of that.
Yeah.
So I always feel like there's somebody on my heels. Like I said, they're coming from my neck, so it's like.
Have you ever been to New York?
I haven't.
So this is what's interesting, because for me, I need to go to New York like twice a year, because since I moved away from New York, and this is just me being like honest, thinking out loud, I've lost that feel of the chase.
Absolutely.
So I'm interested into, I guess, how your perspective of someone always chasing you comes, because I found that when I moved out of New York, I got complacent when I was first in Saginaw, Michigan. I had to go back to New York, get that hunger again, and then that propelled me out of Saginaw into Greenville, South Carolina. Had to go back to New York again, get that jump, and really I land in the city, and there's an air about it, just the way people are grinding. You can't walk down the street without seeing someone else's hustle.
Absolutely.
You can't. And because of that, it's in my face. I came up with the conclusion, for some reason I see wherever I'm at, right? Even New York City as a pond. New York City it's a big pond.
Yeah.
But every city being a pond, I'm thinking to myself, if I'm the biggest fish in a small pond, I'm still a minnow in the ocean.
Exactly. I like that. I like that.
The fact of the matter is, I got complacent in Saginaw because, quite frankly, I knew a lot of the big wigs in the city, and I can go places and see everybody and dap hands with the people who are running the town, and I feel big. But if I get comfortable in that setting, much like a lobster has to shed its shell to get a bigger shell, if I don't change my shell, I'm not going to get bigger. I'm not going to grow.
Man.
So I'm interested to where that mentality of someone chasing you comes from, because, I don't feel it in South Carolina. Am I looking in the wrong places?
I'm not trying to bash South Carolina, but I mean,
I don't. Yeah, I mean, all love for South Carolina.
Yeah, all love, man. I think it's just, I just get that drive and that hunger, man. Just, I think not only have I taken it from my grandma, just feeling like, not necessarily like the world is against you, but it's kind of written. Everyone expects something from you, right? I don't want you to expect me to fail. Yeah, you know what I mean? I don't want that expectation. I don't want you to expect me to fail. I'm going to show you exactly what I can do. Like, so if you tell me I can't do it, man, I got to do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's in every aspect in life. One thing that Ray Lewis has always said, he said in an interview that I was listening to, and it stuck with me for a long time, and still to this day it does. Good is fitting in, great is fitting out.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I'm going to do everything that the next man is not going to do to get to where I want to be in life. I'm going to put in that work left and right, no matter what. So, yeah, I'm going to get up at, 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning, run through it, kill a workout, go to work at the hospital, work a full day, get off 5, 7 o'clock at night, go back, kill a different style of a workout.
Yeah. Which here we are recording a podcast. You work today. It's a weekend we're recording. Yeah,
man. Yeah, man. Had to go in. We had well over like 500 COVID samples today.
Yeah.
So,
Which I don't know if I thanked you on the podcast officially, man, for doing all the work on the front lines and things like that.
Thank y'all for doing y'all's part, man. I'm just here trying to do mine, man.
We appreciate it, because it's great seeing somebody with a career and a profession that's also not comfortable.
No.
Because I think there's a lot of people that listen to this show who they have that hunger, that drive, that thing on the side that they're trying to work on. And if you're listening to this and you have a main gig that's paying you well, respect it.
Absolutely.
Right? And pour into that. That's your priority. That's what pays the bills. However, I urge you not to be comfortable, because I think what this pandemic has shown us is that you can't be comfortable with just one stream of income. You can't be comfortable with just a career. You have to be marketable, versatile, and you have to be able to adjust at any given moment for what can happen. So I love the fact that not only do you have the career, but you also have that drive on the side, and kind of focusing now on that entrepreneurial part, right? The fitness modeling and stuff. How did you get into that, and kind of how's that journey been for you?
So It actually just started with fitness. I used to work out. Really close friend of mine committed suicide a couple of years ago. He was a Marine, struggling from postpartum. He was huge into the fitness industry. That was like his thing. He loved fitness. I worked out with him left and right. Dude was jacked.
Yeah.
Passed away, of course. Well, I took it kind of like I always had a chip on my shoulder, but I kind of took it upon myself to be like, I'm going to continue to chase his dream. So it started with me just chasing the whole fitness dream, like maybe even not even just the modeling, just maybe even doing like bodybuilding stuff like that. I was a frail little. I mean, I was tiny. Then it got to the point I was like, I don't want to be a bodybuilder, but I'm going to continue on this fitness journey for him. Like, I'm going to live this for him. Had a videographer hit me up one day and was like, hey, man, you want to come out and do this little segment for me for this clothing company? Yeah, why not? I'll do it. I probably won't be any good, but yeah, I'll do it. Knocked that one out. Everything just kind of trickled down. Everything was like a domino effect, man. And, companies started, shooting me messages, other videographers, other photographers, like, hey, come do this. Signed up for Fashion Week. Didn't think I was going to even make it. Got in Fashion Week. I feel like I did a phenomenal job. Was supposed to walk again this year, but of course we got postponed until 2021. But ever since I started with that first video, man, it's been hard, but it's been fun because I feel like I have to outdo my last performance every time.
I was gonna say, what's been hard about it is that
what's been hard is like mainly just every videographer, every photographer is different. So everyone has like their own thing of what they want and the vision that they have. And I respect that, but it's more of like some companies expect the most out of you but don't want to pay, or, when I first started, it was kind of hard even trying to find gigs. If I decided like I wanted to go work on something, I heard a videographer, he messaged me and be like, hey, I might use you, but I want this. I'm talking to other people about it too. Hey, I really want to be a part of this project. Well, you're not on that level yet. You don't have these notches in your belt, basically. You haven't put in the time for it. So I'm going to go with this kid that is 10 times better than you. That sucks. Like, I hate smack in the face. I hate the feel of I'm losing. Like, as my competitive nature, I hate to feel like I'm losing. And at that point, I felt like I was losing. So just grinding even harder, like reaching out to different photographers. Like, hey, man, you got any projects that you need? Like, I'm your man. Let's go do this. Let's knock it out. But this was cool. Like, I love that you did this, this fitness shoot. Let's recreate that. No. Let's not recreate that. Let's take it a step further. Let's go even bigger and better than the last one. So just having to outdo my performance every time, man. My creative juices start flowing, and I've gotten to the point now, videographers and photographers, I feel like, they give me the respect to be like, look, this is what I want. But clearly you know what you're doing. What do you think? Let's do this, that, and the third. And I love that, man.
Yeah, you've gotten to the point, like you mentioned before, you come and you get the respect.
Exactly, yeah.
They're like, oh, we respect this person the moment they walk in on the shoot.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Like, even, you walk into, the news studio, it's like you have to work so damn hard that your presence demands respect.
Yeah.
You walk through that door, they know, like, he's coming to bring it.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what. Like, Ted probably got the flu right now, man. This flu game Jordan we getting right now. It don't matter. We're going to carry him through this. Like, it is what it is. I know he's going to give me 115% no matter what.
And here's the amazing thing about those kind of people, because I know the listeners, the watchers, the viewers, you and I know those kind of people.
Yeah.
And when they walk into a room and you work with them, that makes you step up your game.
Absolutely.
If I have somebody, I'll put it this way, man. If we sat here to start talking about sports and they're like, oh, we're going to have a third person sit down, and Stephen A. sat down?
Like, I didn't sign up for all that.
Yeah, but I'm going to be coming with my A game because I know he's not coming to play around. And if he's not playing around, I got to come here acting like I belong at the table with Stephen A.
I'm supposed to be sitting right here with you, and I can keep up with you.
This is going to turn on, and this is not a mistake.
Big facts.
This is exactly how it's supposed to be. Who would you say, and I feel like I know the answer, who would you say is the person you're in most competition with?
Myself, hands down.
Yeah.
Any day of the week.
Yeah.
And the only person I'm competing with is myself. Like I said, every day is a day to get better, man.
Yeah.
I got to take it. I have to grasp every opportunity.
Yeah.
And enjoy the process while I'm doing it, man. Head down, do the work. That's the concept, no matter what. Head down, do the work.
Do you think there's enough for everybody to eat?
Absolutely. There's enough to go around, but I'm greedy. I want my plate full.
Yeah.
I want it full, man. So it's like every let's say this is our table right here.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, hey, man, this is going to be a buffet line. We're going to split this together. That's cool, but if you're in the same career path that I'm on, I'm sorry, but I need your plate.
Yeah.
Hey, you have some. There's enough for everybody to go around, but I need to be full before you be full.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
And I think that's human nature too.
Yeah, you
because
have to be that way.
At the end of the day, if it is a buffet, and it's all you can eat, I want your plate full, I want my plate full.
Yeah,
we both know that we're gonna be fed.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to stop eating.
No.
To let you get a plate.
Not at all.
There's plenty out here. I'm gonna eat, and if you sitting there hungry, I'm like,
hey, you should have got yours.
It's
right here.
It's right in front of us.
You're in the same boat that I am, man. You can grab it whenever you need it, but
yeah,
I'm gonna make sure I'm good. Like at the end of the day, you have to.
Where do you go? And I think this is an important question because life has ups and downs, man.
Mm-hmm.
And we mentioned before this podcast about like being in a state of flow, right? When everything's just going well and you just on it. But when things are kind of rocky, things are falling off, you're starting off the modeling career stuff, or even starting the career and you're learning things along the way. Where do you go to recharge your confidence?
Man, like I said, I listen to a lot of motivational speakers. I listen to Eric Thomas, Ray Lewis, Inky Johnson. I catch myself sometimes, man. I even go back to Seneca to my grandma's grave, though. And I'll just sit out there sometimes, man. I've caught myself, man, literally go sitting in front of her grave with a Bible in my hand, to be real with you.
Yeah.
And I'm just literally talking to her, just like, man, telling her how things are rough. Like, I don't know how I'm going to overcome this, how I'm going to get better. I mean, and sometimes, when your faith is tested, man, sometimes you have to be in an isolated position like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need to be uncomfortable. You can't grow without being uncomfortable, right? Like,
yeah.
I just found myself motivational speeches, man, Bible, trying to talk to my grandma, man. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
And then music, man. Music, always.
Oh yeah.
Always, man.
Yeah.
Always, man.
That's such an important question because, especially for anybody trying something new, right? There's always this gap. And I'm sure you probably felt it when you first started with the fitness modeling, and even so is whenever we start something new, chances are you have good taste, right? You love music, right?
Definitely.
If we got in a booth, I love music. If we got in a booth to lay some tracks, it's not gonna be Grammy-winning tracks. Like, it's just not going to be that. But it doesn't mean that we don't have good taste in music. It just means we don't have the skills developed to articulate the taste that we have.
100%.
And that applies to so many different arenas. And all that to say is when we start something new, there's a gap between our tastes and personal expectations and our capabilities. And that gap is the most demoralizing thing to be in.
Yeah.
I felt it when I started anchoring, and I did that in front of hundreds of thousands of people, stumbling over my words each and every single day. Honestly, if it wasn't for the gym, I wouldn't have made it as an anchor.
Yeah.
Because I literally left the studio and I went to the gym to something that gave me confidence.
Yeah.
Definitely. I could work out, I could come here, help somebody else with their form or something. At least I can go somewhere. I might not be a good anchor, but I'm a great friend. I'm a great son. I found other areas in my life that I could be great at. We got a couple more minutes here in the podcast. As we wrap things up, I know we have a big announcement coming up soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In terms of things that you've been working on, I always ask, what are the rainbows you're chasing? And you don't have to give us the announcement yet, but I know it's right around the corner, probably 2 days from when this podcast drops. But what are some of the rainbows and the things that excite you so much about this journey that you're currently on, man?
Man, this project is so deeply to me because it gives a little bit more insight to basically what we're talking about now, my work ethic, my grind, and what's driving me. But also, it's a launch of me. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's a launch of me as a man, as a fitness model, as a entrepreneur, this is a step for you to see almost like a day in the life
Nice.
of me and what it's took for me to get to where I am and how hard I'll work.
Yeah.
So I want this to I think anyone, when they talk to me, I feel like they can see it in my eyes. Like I see everyone always looks at me and their eyes like glaze over sometimes, and I don't mean that in like a cocky way.
Yeah.
But it's like I think everyone can see in my eyes like the passion and the drive and like the hunger.
Yeah.
And like I said, while the getting is good,
Mm-hmm.
impose your will on it, man. Like you gotta own every second of it, own every moment of it. And if not,
Yeah.
step to the side, let somebody else take the seat, man. But it's mine. Like I want it.
Yeah.
I want the throne. Somebody's always on your heels clipping for it. Outwork everybody at every given moment that you can.
Oh man, I love that.
And I respect your grind, man. I know you own it, man.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I know exactly what you're talking about, like maybe the eyes glazing over or this, the other thing. And, I've spoken to friends, and we just dropped the 100th episode of the podcast a few weeks
congrats,
ago.
Man.
Appreciate
I didn't know
that. But it's so funny because the 100th episode dropped and got a bunch of messages, congratulations, this, the other thing. Had a few messages from people like, I didn't know you were still doing that.
Really?
Yeah. There was no shade in that.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, take pride in that because I'm thankful that I got those messages because it wasn't like a message like, oh, you're still doing that. It was more like, oh, Ted, 100 episodes, congratulations. I didn't know you were still doing that. And that to me is kind of like, yeah, I told you I was doing a podcast. Yeah. This wasn't a phase.
Yeah.
Like we got episode 100 came out. We're working on another 100 and another 100.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle, man.
Yeah.
Keep it moving.
So when someone's like, oh, you still doing that thing that you were, of course I'm still doing the thing. If I told you I was going to do something,
I'm going to do it. I'm a man on my word.
Yeah.
But I feel like it also like amps you up though. It like motivates you almost. Like, oh, you thought it was a game, basically. You thought I was out here playing. All right.
Yeah.
I want to show you to stop playing with me. Like I'm moving. I'm moving on forward. I'm coming for everything that I can get.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you're killing it, man.
Appreciate
I respect it, man.
All the listeners who thought it was a game, it's not a game. We love the support. You can support us at the Patreon page for as little as $1 a month. Shout out.
It's just $1. Go ahead. Throw that in there. Throw that in there.
Speaking of the shameless plug, man, I want to make sure that our listeners, our YouTube viewers, everybody can reach out to you, see some of the content you've been working on because it is nothing short of fire.
Thank you, man.
Everything you got. I mean, bro. I'm like, every time I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get him on this one.
Yeah.
You're like, what about this? Up the ante, which is good, man. Keep raising that bar. But how can folks reach out to you and see some of the work?
Man, reach me on Instagram, Goose Aurelius, GOOSEAURELIUS. A lot of people ask me what that is. Goose, of course, is the nickname. Aurelius, favorite philosopher, Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. But you can reach me at Goose Aurelius or Facebook, Marcus Carson, man.
Got you. And I'll have that linked up in the show notes. So if anybody's listening on the iTunes podcast app, all you have to do is go to the show notes right now. Click that. It'll take you right to those links and those pages. Make sure you hit that follow and check out the content that my man's putting out because it is fire. It'll motivate you. It'll put a fire under your butt.
And not to cut you off, but I mean, if anybody's got any suggestions of what they want to see or what they want me to do, or even challenges that you want to see me get into, something I haven't done before, do not hesitate to let me know. I'm all for it.
I love that.
I'm all for it. I want more and more.
I love
want
that.
to go above and beyond.
I love that, man. And watch your back.
Hey, I know you right there. Hey, you on my heels, man.
Hey, but you on mine, which is great because I think we elevate each other. So I appreciate your hustle because your hustle keeps me hustling.
Same, man, likewise.
Vice versa. And to all the listeners, don't think we don't see you on our coattails either.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I hear you breathing on my neck back there.
Hey, cheers, brother. I'll take a sip to you.
Yes, sir.
And to all the listeners that made it to the end, we appreciate you guys rocking with us for this episode of the No Rain, No Rainbows podcast. Like we always say, man, keep hustling out there. Get over the adversity that you're going through because you have to go through the hard times to get to the sunshine and the rainbows that I'm sure are waiting for you in your life. If you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. If you're watching us on YouTube, we'd love to have you. Hit that subscribe button. Also hit the bell so you get a notification for every single new episode that drops each Wednesday. And if you haven't gone to our Patreon page there, you can get some behind-the-scenes footage, pictures, things. You can support us for as little as $1 an hour to help us grow this podcast. Love you guys. And like we always say at the end of the episode, everybody wants the sunshine, but they don't want the rain. But you can't get the pleasure without a little pain. Let's grow. The No Rain, No Rainbows podcast is recorded at Camaraderie, a collective workspace in Greenville, South Carolina, right off the Swamp Rabbit Trail. If you're looking for a place to grow your business, network with other professionals, and establish your own workspace, Camaraderie is the place to do so.